Okay, I'm gonna go live, folks. Hello and welcome everyone. We are live on online. You've reached Epic Sketch Time. Epic Sketch Time is a online drawing group, and we meet every Tuesday. Oh, sorry. Hope you can't hear that. Okay, there we go. I had to mute myself on the YouTube. So we meet every Tuesday at 4:30. My name is Mark Monlux, and I live in Tacoma, Washington. And today I'm going to be drawing a rat eating a checkbook. With us today is Raj, otherwise known as Toon Raj 99 in Spokane, Washington. Hello, Raj. Up next is Bill Morris.
I am Bill Morris. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator in Seattle, Washington, and today I am going to be working on a Sunday strip for a upcoming Christmas epic that I got an early start on.
And we also have with us Katie. Katie is going to be working on a bit of fan artwork for Carrie.
Yes, hi, I'm Katie C. I'm in Bonnie Lake, Washington. I love painting and drawing women screaming, especially scream queens. And I also am doing a tarot series of cute little puppy dogs and kitties called Ambivalent Tarot. And you can find me on Instagram as Ambivalent Tarot or Evil Girlfriend.
I'm going to show off a bit of artwork that, well, hold on. Yeah, I just realized I don't have it on my tablet. I did it in Illustrator on my main computer, so I'll have to find a reference for it online that I posted already. And then share that. Here we go. Let's see if I can. I'll make it so that we can all share our screens. So this is a bit of movie poster artwork I did for a movie called Possession from 1981. And they're doing a 40th anniversary digitally remastering of this show. It's this, it stars Sam Neill and I forget the name of the actress, but she won a little bit of acclaim for her role in this. It didn't really hit mainstream, this horror movie, because it's a weird off-kilter film that had a lot of undertones and social commentary going on beneath it, which apparently weren't very well received. But it's more of a thinking person's horror film.
Oh, I think it came out pretty well, though. I confess I'd never heard of it.
So last week I mentioned I was going to do it based on a card called Judgment. And I decided rather than working in the horn, at one point I thought about doing little horns in the waves, because having an angel blowing a horn is part of it. But since I was adding things, I thought it was okay to remove other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I and I really needed to crank it out because the movie was it's going to be this week, and I had to get this to the printer quickly. I would have liked to have gone in and add additional details, possibly a texture to make it look more woodcutty.
No, I like the way how flat it is, actually. I mean, I can see lots of places where putting shade in is very, very tempting, but the way that the front figures have no shade actually works very well for me.
I was liking that too. I was liking, and the tarot deck that I have is the Morgan Greer tarot deck, which is, it came out during a single publication in the 80s and has not been reprinted since. And I love the artist's selections of colors. I basically went from that because I think they had an excellent idea of what the artwork, what this color palette should be. And I purposely have the child as a white silhouette. And part of that is a commentary inside the movies about this couple that's having arguments about whether or not they should be breaking up. And they do have a child, but the child's, other than, you know, a couple of token appearances in the movie, the child's really not part of the plot of the movie. So I just kind of thought, okay, not only will this make a commentary about the movie, but it'll also save me time if I didn't have to draw this child.
Mm-hmm. I was partially thinking that you were using the child as a censor as well.
I think I would have used more tentacles for that, but and I was trying to, at one point I was thinking about, you'll notice that these tentacles are kind of going straight up, and that the arms are also kind of going straight up. I thought at one time of having this be an upside down tarot deck and having the word possession at the bottom. And that way the tentacles would be kind of like dripping down off of her. But I already have one poster where I have the main background upside down and the title right side up in my portfolio, and it is the least popular of all my prints. So I thought, I'll skip that. It might have been more in keeping with the theme of the movie, but this works too. So I didn't even bother turning it upside down to see what it would look like, but I'm going to turn my screen upside down. I'm looking at it now. I think it works better right side up. And I did add a little bit of shading to the tentacles. When they were flat, it seemed wrong. And I also went into the black lines of the waves, and because I didn't want them to be conflicting with the foreground black lines, I gave them a dark color instead of a line weight. So I'm really happy about that, how well that turned out. But I'll be surprised if I sell 10 of them at the show this weekend. I'm going to be surprised if any 10 people show up for this movie. This is a really obscure horror movie. And of course I've seen it, but when I watched it many years ago, I found it a little tedious at the time, but maybe that's because I was still very young. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. So before I start work, I have something to share as well, and definitely need an opinion on. I started, as I said, I've been working on the Christmas story early, and one of the fat parts of the story this year involves what is described as a winter camp at first, and there's more to it than that, but I was sort of coming up with the uniforms of the counselors consisting of tracksuits in red and green, so it would be Christmassy. So I was doing some concept sketch for it, and I don't think the red and green works quite as well as I thought it would.
I think if you do red and green at this particular time, everyone's going to think that it's going to be a commentary on the Squid Game. And it's going to have a negative connotation.
Okay.
Because red jumpsuits are prevalent in the Squid Game. And I think it's too, if it was any other year, I think that'd be okay.
But I'm trying to go with Christmas colors, and green jumpsuits were pretty prevalent in the Squid Game as well. I believe it was the guards that are wearing red and the players / victims who are wearing green.
Yeah. So you had the same concern.
I was going with tracksuits because it made sense in a winter environment, but
And you can't go yellow without everybody thinking Kill Bill.
mm-hmm.
I can't see because I'm on my phone. Can you hold it back up and I'll look? I don't know how much my opinion matters, but
Hold it closer to the screen, Bill.
Oh, where is it at? Oh, there we go. Is there a way for me to select on you? Okay. So she's wearing like pink, and is that red? So you said that was red and not
It's
pink?
supposed to be red, but I admit that yes, it's a pink tone that I realized that I'd picked by mistake until. So in the actual Sunday strips, it'll be a darker red. Actually, maybe that's why it doesn't work, because it's a pink rather than a full red.
Well, I mean, because I'm on my phone and all I can see is like a tiny little square. It actually looks like a Star Trek uniform from this far back with a like tailcoat on it. But that's just because I'm way back here. But I didn't really see Squid Game because you got the breaking of the green. I'm so sorry. My terrorist is, I don't know why he's acting like that right now.
Yeah, was that like a green scarf around her shoulders, or?
It's supposed to be a lot of these tracksuits, especially the ones that are used in a lot of Asian middle schools, are essentially the one color up to the shoulders where it goes to another color or the shade of that color.
And are they all wearing the same outfit?
I was having the counselors wearing the same outfits. I was thinking of doing other colors for the kids. As kind of, it's not, I don't really have a system with them at the moment, but it was sort of my way of kind of simultaneously thinking it out and getting my watercolor practice in for the day.
I'm trying to think of alternative Christmas colors. doing white.
colors.
Red and green is generally the classic.
Yeah, but I was thinking maybe if you could rather maybe white with green and red highlights,
Hmm.
like you know how a lot of tracksuits will have a white stripe going up the
Right.
side. Are they going to be breaking out into teams later?
I'm still figuring out some of the details. I admit that Squid Game references did occur to me, kind of sort of mixing Squid Game with Polar Express.
Well, I was kind of thinking that if you were going to have people break out into teams, if it would make sense if they were in different colors to
Yeah.
represent the various teams. But if that's not part of your plan, oh, it's just going to be hard to shake the whole Squid Game reference. But I think you should have the counselors just have either red shirts with green pants, and the kids have the reverse.
Mhm.
And maybe have the shoulders be white, but or the highlights to be white,
Right.
or like the collars. I'm thinking particularly collars and cuffs. Oh, it's a bit of a logistics thing, but
Yeah.
I would keep it simple to just two types of patterns, one for the counselors and one for the kids.
Okay.
It'll also make things simpler for you in the long run because you'll be having it easier to design. But the thing is, they might be Christmas colors, but even that, the reason why it works so well in the Squid Game is because a monotone color on a figure stands out really good wherever you place it. But here you have individual figures that have two colors that are on opposite sides of the color wheel right next to each other. Having them work in a composition, it's going to be incredibly difficult.
Which is one reason why I was doing it in the sketch rather than you get complaining about it when it's in the finished Sunday.
Yeah. I don't suppose you could do a preliminary strip where they were talking about how the original colors for the counselors were going to be red and the kids' outfits were going to be greens, but then the Squid Game came along and they had to reconsider their ordering sequence. And that way you could just pull some nice warm colors like orange and purple. I mean, I know you're trying to go with a Christmas theme, but I'm just trying to think of being able to do color composition later on. And if they're going to be outside, it would better to have their outfits be a nice warm color so that you can have, green and white in the background really pop them out. And then if you had other objects around them that were, various, the blues, and using reds as sort of like little highlight, using warms as highlights besides them,
Mm-hmm.
it would make your composition task down the road and the panels look a lot more cohesive.
Right.
Oh, Katie, you're working on the teeth, or are you drawing blood around the lips? I can't quite make it out. She gave me an okay sign, so I'm assuming that it's a little bit of both.
I keep forgetting I'm on mute. Sorry.
Yeah.
This whole working on Zoom off your phone is, yeah, I'm just kind of going through and I have I don't know, I've talked about my Posca pens before, and I've never used this much red ever in anything I've drawn. So I'm just kind of going through and using different versions of red and seeing what looks best where for the lighting. But yeah, she has a couple blood soaked teeth in the movie still that I'm using as a reference. And so I'm trying to just make sure it looks like she has blood dripping down off of her face onto her teeth and then down her chin and then over her lips. Like I said, this is not one of those stills that there's a lot of. I was surprised because this is kind of iconic. You know, this is like right when she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. I have pig blood all over my head."
Yeah. I think as far as iconic is concerned, it's the frame about 30 seconds before it that everybody remembers. At least that's the one film books I've looked at.
Yeah, so it's hard to find this particular one. And I just happened to run across it and I was like, "Ooh, I like this better because I kind of like that vulnerability." It's like right before she gets angry, it's like that self-realization of like betrayal starting to set in, and she just completely terrified herself at what kind of monsters these people are and how she's let them in. I may have read the book 3 or 4 times too, so I might be projecting a little bit on Sissy Spacek's character.
That's actually interesting. I remember when I was doing my Game of Thrones project, to sort of like what I remembered from the book and what I remembered from the show very frequently overlapped and led to confusing conclusions.
Oh, yeah, and the shading is really hard too because and Elizabeth, who's not been here in a couple weeks, but I think it's because of Nano, was explaining to me, it's like sometimes, like especially when you're doing a piece where you're rendering off a photo, like you have to do what looks aesthetically pleasing compared as a painting or a drawing versus what it looks like on the image as you're translating it. So I've kind of had to modify a little bit, and like just learning how to mix color. This is actually a good practice in learning to mix color. And I was telling Tim, I said, "Tim, why can't I ever like be attracted to drawing or painting, like when I want to do a reference picture, like something simple? Why do I always want to try to draw things that are probably way out of my skill level?" I was like, is there something wrong with me?
As far as sort of the difficult things, I definitely sympathize. I mean, for example, that watercolor I just showed, the biggest stumbling block I had was sort of just doing the crowd of kids and doing individual faces. I frequently find myself sneaking in cameos to a lot of crowd scenes simply because it saves the bother of thinking of 20 unique faces from just your memory.
So the big Facebook chatter today is the loss of Dean Stockwell. And I kind of grew up with him as an actor in my life. I remember watching lots of movies where he was a child star. He was in the Thin Man movies as their child. He was also in Gentleman's Agreement as the child inside the boy inside that one. He was also in this movie called The Boy with Green Hair, which I really enjoyed that film too. And I've lost count of all the horror movies I've seen him in.
I think the big thing I remember him from, but that shows you like I'm a child of the 80s, is Quantum Leap. I mean, he really was a memorable character for me from that show because I loved Quantum Leap.
Yeah, all of that.
So I'll show you what I'm drawing now. It's a commission piece. And I really should be done with it, but for some reason, I'm just dawdling over it. It's taking me far longer to draw it than it should. So here we go. It is a rat eating a checkbook and telling up some figures on an accounting device, and it says a balanced diet underneath. And the story behind this is, in this apartment complex, there's a guy named Steve with his wife, and his checkbook somehow got knocked underneath or dragged underneath a dresser where a rat ate it. And so whenever he and his wife come down to the pool to sit in the hot tub or ever anything, all the neighbors refer to them as the Rat Pack now.
Oh dear.
And
Either of them sing?
I have no idea, but it was all because of this, this story. And and this guy thought, oh, it'd be cute to do a drawing, give them this drawing. I thought, okay, if you say so. It's not my place to say whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing. But if the client says they want a picture of a rat eating a checkbook, so what I was doing was I was trying to come up with the funny numbers. Of course, there's 8675309, and then the 65,000 from Transylvania 65,000. But there was also a Partridge Family song that was a phone number called Fairfield 26809. So I'm putting that, and I just admitted another person to our group. I'm going to stop sharing. And it's my good friend, Denny Ossis. Hello, Denny.
Hi, Marky.
So we're just sitting here chatting away, drawing. What's
Yeah.
up with you? Tell me what you get back from your trip.
Yep. So we bought a new oven the other day, and I'm getting that into the cabinet thing and doing all the trim work today. That's about it.
So when was the last time you actually sat down and did some drawing?
Oh my gosh. It was in June when we were doing the Bert Gibson thing.
Oh, wow.
Well, I've been busy since then.
Yeah, you have.
Who's with us? Katie C. I see you. What are you working on, Katie?
You're muted again.
Oh yeah. Okay, here. I am working on a picture from the movie Carrie.
Oh yeah. Scream?
Yeah, that's my thing. I like painting and drawing scream queens screaming.
Yeah, she's got a whole series of women screaming.
And Toon Raj, what are you working on, Toon?
Some animation.
Yeah, Roger's an animator in Spokane.
Oh,
So, and Bill's working. Bill, you're working on your. Are you doing sketches based on your watercolor? Or are you still coming up trying to figure out your colors?
Well, I'm currently working on the inking these, working on the Sunday strip that these colors will eventually be part of.
oh my gosh.
So getting an early start for Christmas, which feels pretty weird since my this Christmas storyline is very frequently part of what I call my Christmas therapy, being that I'm stuck in Seattle when all of my family is in New England.
Ah.
and so frequently I'm doing these as sort of my ritual to get it all out of my system, and starting working on it in November feels like it's defeating the purpose.
Oh yeah. See, the choo-choo train you've got there reminds me of a movie that I was trying to think of, and Mark will recognize this very well, about the guy that flies around with the jetpack. That was I don't know, it was like 10 years ago.
The Rocketeer.
Rocketeer. That was a great. I want to see that movie again. Mark, what are you working on?
Oh, didn't you see? Well, I'll get ready to share my screen again. I'm going to prep up. I just got through doing a
Phone numbers and etc. Right? 8675309.
well, I'm trying to come up with a list of funny numbers to include in this illustration, but let me show you what I did, the project I just finished doing. Let's see. Screen share. So, this is the one I'm working on right now. A client asked for a rat eating a checkbook. So I thought I'll just put a bunch of numbers on the adding machine.
Right.
And so I thought I'll make them all funny numbers from songs and movies, like Room 222.
Oh, what was the license plate in THX?
Oh, take checks. Oh, okay, you're gonna have to work on that one for me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know the movie you're talking about.
Okay.
And then there was, this is a movie poster I just got through sending off to the printer.
Oh my gosh.
And I made it based off of a tarot deck design.
Uh-huh.
So I was cranking on that this weekend. That's what I've been up to.
So, my original question about hooking up with you was to see the program that you're using now to do this stuff instead of the Illustrator.
Oh, well, then I'll show you. That's what I'm working on right now. This is called Procreate. And well, what I'll do is I'll turn this image sideways so it takes up more of the screen. And this is a simple $10 program. On the left-hand side, these tools control the size of your brush. This tool controls the opacity of your brush.
Mm-hmm.
These tools at the top have various functions, some of them dealing with selecting, some of them with gradation. Some of these tools will pop up other tools like this one for the, in this selection tool, I have freehand selected down below, which means I can highlight, like say these words, tap, tap, tap.
Right.
And now when I hit the arrow tool, those words will be selected.
You can move them.
Yeah, I can move them around.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting about this program is that it will actually remember every line that you draw. So here's me figuring out my initial sketch and layout of things.
You do this with a pen on your pad?
Yeah, this is, I'm using an iPad Pro, and
Okay.
the tool I'm using is called a Mac Pencil.
Gotcha.
And it's touch sensitive pencil. So as you can see, I've completed my template, and now I've started to do the final inking. Very similar to working inside Photoshop with a touch sensitive pen. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And these tools on the top right hand corner all deal with the brushes. The brushes have a variety of categories which are listed on the left.
Yeah.
Like recent or ill, and then you can select one of those, and even then you could go in and adjust using these commands up here how you want to have that stroke be affected, like whether or not you want the fall off to be faint or rapid or known, or whether or not you want there to be some jitteriness to the line.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
And the thing is, that is just on the stroke path. There are over a dozen other controls that you can apply just to how the stroke will come out. So when you go back to, these are just preset strokes. But there are a lot of artists out there that have gone in and created their own strokes. Again, on the left-hand side here, you can change the size and the opacity.
Right.
So you can mimic a variety of textures. But I like using this basic pen stroke. And then you have other tools. The erase tool is basically the same thing. it erases the drawing, but you also can control what the texture of the erase tool can be. And you're familiar with the smudge tool
Yeah.
inside Photoshop. So you can do the same thing with the smudge tool. Now, what I really like, okay, so you have layers just inside Photoshop, and you can change the opacity of a layer. You can also do the same layer things like locking it up and duplicating it. But if you tap on it, you have a bunch more menu commands on how you can alter these things. One of these things is, which I use quite a lot, is when you select the black layer and you select it as a reference. Now, if I went to a layer underneath it, and I'll just quickly add another layer underneath it, and I go up and I choose a color. When I drag this color over and oops, always go to the right layer. Why isn't this working?
Best laid plans.
Well, what it's supposed to do is be acting like a paint bucket.
And only color that which is drawn.
What it'll do is you can go to a layer underneath the line layer, and when you're dropping in color, it will refer to the line layer and say, oh, I can only draw within this parameter or within those black lines of the reference.
Oh, wow.
So
Like
you
a
can
fill.
do like a fill,
Autofill.
just like on an autofill, but on a different layer.
Yeah, gotcha.
I love you can also choose multiple palettes, create multiple palettes. I like this particular setting on the color because up here where it says colors analogous,
Yes.
so it's showing you the analogous colors to the left and to the right.
Oh, yeah.
But if I went and selected on that and say, okay, show me what the split complementary colors are, it then shows me those on the color wheel. Or I can select the triadic ones.
Oh, my God.
Or the tetriadic. And this makes really quick work on selecting what your color palette will be.
Right.
And so you can quickly put together a color palette. So people, you can have or exchange with people brush palettes, color palettes, just like you can export out a brush techniques inside Photoshop and brush techniques inside, or color palettes inside Photoshop and Illustrator. But hey, for a $10 program, it's wicked powerful.
It beats the $400 Illustrator.
Well, the whole thing with Illustrator now is that whole subscription fee.
Yeah. THX 138.
138, that's it.
Yeah.
Now I'm not including any I'm only having
No
to
numbers,
use numbers,
or no letters,
but yeah, I'm going to
numbers.
add in 138 as some. Matter of fact, I'm going to make those my first numbers that I add onto this. Oh, I got down to the right layer.
You could throw in your birth year.
That's not funny though.
It's getting less and less funny as it goes on.
So
speaking of which, your fibrillation is doing well.
Oh yeah, I had an ablation done earlier this year, so I haven't been in AFib since then.
Great.
And I feel really good. walking a mile a day? How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Going down the stairs first thing in the morning is a little itchy on the knees, but once I get going, I'm good. And I've got a weight bench downstairs with a barbell and some weights on it, so I've been using that. I had a that shoulder thing in your shoulder, your oh crap, whatever it is, and it broke last year, and I had it fixed. And now if I put my hands out, excuse me, palms up, and I go out front, then I go out to the sides and go up, out and around. I don't know, it struck me one day, I was trying to play a B7 chord on my guitar, and I couldn't get my arm and my hand around sort of the end of the neck to play the B7, because you have to sort of come at it from the end as opposed to from the bottom or the top, like an E chord or a C chord. You have to kind of come around, and man, I couldn't get my arm to move that way. So I mentioned that to my doctor, and he said, well, it's not your rotator cuff. That's what it was. But I think I might have him go back and look at the x-rays again, because I think it is. And, you know, I want both arms to work equally good, but my left arm is not doing quite as well as it should. Let's see what else. I guess not too much else. My daughter moved over by Boise over the weekend.
Oh, that's a change.
We had a birthday get together here at my house that included my ex-wife and her mother. That was interesting.
Okay, I'm trying to come up with more funny numbers. I've got Transylvania 5,000. Let's see. 64 from Cars 64. Where are you?
54.
It's 54.
54.
Oh, thank you.
64 was Will You Still Leave Me? Will you still feed me? Will you still whatever?
Leave
When
me
I'm
when
64.
Okay, I'll add in 64. That's a good one. Then room 222.
42.
Then what?
42.
Oh, yes. Do I have? Yeah, I have 42 in here. Then of course 6875309. Do I have that number right? 6875309.
8675 Oh,
Eight
how about
six. Okay.
the zip code for the TV show?
Oh, that's right.
Talking Beverly Hills here.
Yeah, Beverly Hills 90120 or whatever that was.
Oh, that's killing me. I need that zip code.
Yeah, the mind is the second thing to go, and I don't remember what the first thing is.
I spent an embarrassing amount of time this afternoon trying to remember Geneva.
The capital city of Austria?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, there we go.
I remember Zurich, but what's that other one?
My wife and I,
it was the zip code for Hollywood, right?
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
90210.
Yeah,
90210. Thank you.
yeah.
Can't believe I remembered it correctly.
Well,
Show on the background more times than I care to admit.
that comes under the old memory that you're not losing.
I'm
Let's see.
reminded of that scene in Inside Out where they're going through the memory maze and the workers are deleting everything except for the spiel for sugar, the bubblegum commercial.
Okay, I need some more numbers here. Let's see.
442.
What is 442?
That's an Oldsmobile.
Oh, you're just going to be randomly making up numbers. I'm not
No,
going
an
to talk to you.
Oldsmobile 442. That 4-speed, 4-quad, dual track.
Okay, I'll add in
Positive traction.
442. You kind of threw me from automobiles to from songs and movies to automobiles. Okay, let's see.
Shoe size. You've got the European version versus the American version, kilometers to centimeters.
Oh, there's got to be more numbers in.
Yeah, like 1,000 or something, right?
Like I can't go.
2001.
Oh, there we go. 2001. That's perfect.
Oh, what was the number for oh no, that was a letter code. I was thinking of the number that the recall code in Doctor Strangelove.
Wasn't there a number? Didn't Jim Carrey do a movie called based on the number 12 or 36 or what was that one?
Yeah, it was kind of a murder mystery, almost like I want to say Monkeys, but it wasn't Monkeys. It was
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys, yeah. Did you get 2001?
Yeah, I got 2001, but I'm pointing down 12 just because of 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's the oh, I'm blanking on it right now, but the room number in The Shining.
Oh, that would be a good one. It was at room 247.
Maybe.
I'm doing a quick look. Room number.
I got one. I got one. How about the Munchers? The Munchers TV show address 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
That's perfect.
It was a little garbled. Munsters, what?
1313 Mockingbird Lane for the Munsters.
Oh, cool.
And the room number was 237. Okay. Great. I've got enough numbers.
How about 1819?
What's 1819?
Well, I'm thinking of the music, Tchaikovsky's
1812.
1812 Overture.
Oh, it's too late. I've got more than enough numbers now. I filled it in all the way. Believe it or not, guys, we're getting close to the end of 5:30.
Let's see, how's the illustrator doing here? The Tune, how you doing?
Raj,
Yeah,
Roger.
Yep, I'm just going into a different scene
How you doing?
So what's this next scene for, Raj?
for a cake falling through the air. That the chef dropped.
Well, Raj, let me ask you how you, after you do these drawings, individual drawings, then how do you get them to animate?
I'll either put them in scanner or copy with the camera you see here.
Katie, I think one of the reasons your painting's working so well is it got all those wonderful warm colors standing out against that beautiful, cool blue background. That was a conscious choice, or were you just going with the photo reference?
I was going with a reference, but I agree with you. I didn't want to change it because I thought it would make it pop. And I've learned so you were just talking when you were talking about Procreate and it giving you the reference. I've learned so much about color. Just like if I have a question about color, there's times when I'll just go into Procreate and then select the color that I have and then look for either complementary colors or colors that it suggests, that are just completely opposite of it. But yeah, I think the blue is like, I'm gonna go back over it and like make the outer part darker and then make the inner a little bit lighter, just because the spotlight was like hitting her from an angle. Just so there's more of a reference because this one side of her face is darker than the other.
Will there be any type?
Not on this original. I'm gonna scan it and then I'll probably have prints. I've not had a lot of luck selling my Screaming Ladies, so they're more just for my enjoyment. It just sounds so odd to say
Is that
that.
a felt tip pen you're using?
No, it is it's actually a brush tip. These are
No.
acrylic markers. I love these things.
Yes, yes.
I love Poscas, and I switch back and forth between the I do have the round tip Poscas, but these brush ones are, oh my god, they're amazing.
Yes, they are.
But I tend to use the brush ones on canvas more than the round tip ones. The round tip ones I use more on like hard acrylic, like canvases that are flat, like for magnets and stuff like that.
Is that canvas you're working on or
Yes.
board?
It's a canvas.
What do you use for scanning mostly, Katie?
I'm not sure. It's something Tim got me. It's a big scanner. And then I've just been doing 300 DPI. I personally don't like scanning. I like to either just do a complete digital or just do an original, but I am trying to figure out how to modify scanned original drawings and acrylics. It just takes time. But I don't know, like I would personally wear a t-shirt that looked like this. And it's kind of funny, I'm wanting to change it up a little bit, but do you remember when Barack Obama was running for president and they had those pictures that were like digitized and it like had half of his face one color and the other different.
The hope motif.
Yes, I'm a little stressed out that the color, the shading difference on this looks like that. And I'm not sure if I like it or I love it, or, I like it or I hate it. But I could see myself wearing this as a t-shirt. I mean, I really could, especially to a horror convention.
Well, everyone, I'm going to stop recording because it's 5:30 and this has been the end of yet another epic sketch time. Denny, hang on the line after we all say goodbye.
Okay.
I want to thank Raj, Bill, and Katie for showing up, and of course, my good friend Denny.